Chris Yandex, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world. Today we welcome back one of boxing's most accomplished referees. He's been in boxing since the 1960s. In 2011, he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. This weekend, Manny Pacquiao will fight Mario Barrios for the WBC Welterweight Championship here in Las Vegas. Want to get Joe's input, catch up with him. Been a couple of years. The great Joe Cortez is here with us on C1 Review. Joe, it's so great to be with you. How are you?
Okay, I feel good. Got a little spark of the old flesh. Ready to talk about boxing today. All our viewers out there, and I want to know what's going on with Joe Cortez. I'm here one piece. After my COVID, I came back, and I'm back like a champ again.
Joe, you're always a champion. What are we talking about? What's new with you? I mean, in retired life, how's everything going?
Everything's going good. You know, I retired at 2012, 13 years ago, and I been staying busy, with my podcast talk show, the Joe Cortez Show, which is up on YouTube channel. Every Friday I do the podcast talk show, and I've been doing that for about 6 years. And always taking care of myself. Try to keep myself fit. To weigh 158 pounds this morning. Not bad. And for a fight, when I turned 12, I was a bantamweight, 118 pounder. So being weighing 158 now, not bad compared to when I came out of the hospital. I was in there for 5 months without COVID. But I beat it. I came out, and now I'm just keep on straight going with my show every week. I got my co-host Shelly Stevens, who's her husband perform at the here in Las Vegas at a restaurant called Lola's every Saturday night. And then I went to see him one night. I liked the way she was performing. We became friends. I asked her to be my co-host. She's doing a great job.
Gonna have to come over and see you at Lola sometime. So let me just ask you, you did an interview with Manny prior to his fight with Adrian Bronner back in 2019. What are your thoughts on Manny Pacquiao returning to fighting this coming weekend here in Las Vegas?
He's in his mid-40s already, and
46.
46. So he says he's not finished. He still has a dream. He says if you can still dream at the age of 46, you can make things happen. So he still has a little spark of the old flash. He's quick. He got great punching power. The less you lose is your power. And he moves around real good. I've been watching him training. He looks pretty decent, and we'll see. I'm sure that if anything goes wrong, his corner will be smart enough to say, let's stop it early. But I don't think he's going to get stopped. I think he's going to be able to go the distance, and to be surprised if he does a miracle like George Foreman. I remember when I refereed George Foreman. He won the heavyweight championship at the age of 45 against Michael Mora. Don't be surprised if Manny Pacquiao can do better with that at 46.
You jumped right to one of my next questions. What was it like to be in there, MGM Grand, George Foreman is 45, Michael Mora is 26. What did you think about what you were witnessing then?
Well, I was witnessing that night in the first early rounds, the first to the fifth. I was already, a little concerned because George Foreman was not winning the fight. He was losing every round. I would go to the corner, go there and check out, see how he's doing. Say, hey, George, you okay? All right, good. Every so often, after a couple of rounds, go to the corner just to be sure. And sure enough, after the seventh, eighth round, I was really getting a little concerned. He wasn't getting hurt, but he was getting punches. He was getting hit with punches. And my thing is to save the fighters from taking unnecessary punishment. I don't want to see fighters getting hurt. So anyway, I went into that corner again in the eighth round, ninth round. Just looking, you see how he was doing, and he was okay. He came out in the 10th round, a little combination, a little left, he kept hitting a left hook. Then all of a sudden, a short right hand, boom, Michael Moore goes down. I was surprised, just like the whole world. The punch heard around the world. And Michael Moore got counted out. He was at head George Foreman at the age of 45, becoming the heavyweight champion of the world again. I mean, he won the championship 20 years prior to that. He retired for 10 years. For 10 years, and then come back 10 years later and wins. He was competitive for 10 years. I mean, you couldn't believe what he did. So, I was very concerned. When you hit the punches, the heavyweights, taking the punches to the head. It's not easy taking punches at that age. But, and then that's why I hold up the referee. Who's ever going to be the referee? I'm sure that the director, Jeff Mullen, then the director of the State Athletic Commission will select the right referee for that fight to make sure that nobody gets hurt seriously for that fight.
Oh, no denying that. So then let me just ask you, let's go back for a second. Manny Pacquiao, 46 years old. Are you surprised that he's returning to fighting?
Well, yeah, I was surprised. I was with him 2 weeks ago up in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And I had a little talk with him. And I said I wanted to say something on my iPhone, a little video interview for the kids out there to see, to see if he's still sharp. And he's 100% sharp. He speaks very well. And I said, okay. So I just wanted to see for myself if he still has it up there. He does. And I've been watching him working out, how he moves around. And I speed, got a good speed with the punches. He moves around. I said, he still has something left. So yeah, he looks good. I mean, the fans are crazy about him. I mean, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame. And normally, you have to be retired X amount of years to get inducted to the International Hall of Fame. And I was very concerned about him coming back to boxing. But after watching him training and the way he talked and the way he's thinking, he said, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love the sport. So, we'll give him a chance and see what he's got.
Oh, I agree. We were with Manny at the press conference on May 31st in Mandalay Bay. Got a chance to ask him a few questions. He was great. He's ready, I think. And we're with Barrios at a training camp a couple weeks ago. He's ready. It's great. I think it's going to be a really exciting fight. I want to look back and ask you a question. We always talk about your referee career, but, you won Golden Gloves tournaments. You were a pro boxer. Why did you not pursue the pro career more than like about 14, 15 fights?
Well, boxing got me for, I think, 12 fights or 13 fights. But I really had 19 pro fights in Mexico and were never recorded. But I was 18-1. Then boxing got me, I think, 11-1 or 12-1. But I just felt like I was going anywhere as a bantamweight. There were no fighters. I was making no money. I was a 6-round fighter back in those days. But in the 60s, when I was fighting, when I turned pro, there was not the opportunity that there is today. I mean, back in those days, you got to be real good just to fight a Madison Square Garden, a 6-rounder. So you don't get to fight back in those days. Championship fight today, you can have 10 fights. 5 fights, they give you a world title fight. Not when I was fighting, and I was, like I said, a bantamweight. I wasn't making any money. I was doing okay, but I mean, you were getting paid $100, $150, $200, $500 for a 6-round fight. It was no money. I said, what? I got to take care of my family. I got a beautiful wife, beautiful children. I said, I got to take care of them. And that's what I thought was more important, take care of my family. Refereeing. And refereeing was like a dream come true as well. Because I never thought I'd be there doing championship fights. My dream was to do one world title fight. Just one. And that first title fight was in 1982, Miguel Montilla versus Aaron Pryor in Atlantic City. And that was my first title fight. And I was so happy. I was wow, my dream came true. I got to do a world title fight. Wow. And when I retired, 2012, with Canelo Alvarez, Josecito Lopez, I retired with 176 world title fights. So, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I'm getting inducted to the Hall of Fame again in September. It'll be my 6th Hall of Fame induction. The first one was the New Jersey Hall of Fame. And after the state of New Jersey, this one is Atlantic City Hall of Fame. But I got inducted when everybody was to get that ring there. That's the International Boxing Hall of Fame ring. I got that with Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Council Zoo, the great National Barrios String, a trainer, and Sylvester Stallone from the Rocky movie, which I was the referee for the Rocky movie. And as you can see there in the background, that was one of the fights that I did with Mike Tyson against Larry.
So here's my question. What was it like to be in the Rocky Balboa movie? Like, what was that like?
Okay. Well, being in the Rocky Balboa movie with me was an honor. I was doing a fight one night at the MGM Hotel, and I got a tap. I waited to go in the ring for the main event, and I was watching the preliminary. I got a tap on the shoulder. It was Sylvester Stallone. See, with Sugar Ray Leonard. He said, "Hey, Joe." I looked around. Sylvester Stallone. I said, "How you doing, buddy?" He said, "Joe, I'm doing a movie, Rocky Balboa. I want you to be my referee. Can you give me your contact information?" I gave all the information. A couple of weeks later, I get a call from MGM Studios that they want to send me a script to be a part of that movie. That's how it all started.
So then let me ask you a couple of others. Where did your famous catchphrase, "I'm fair but I'm firm," come from? Like, where did that come from in your life?
We were doing an interview, and it was a radio show, and the guy sent me the link. I said, "You can listen to the show later on." So the following week, I would listen to the show, And then he asked me the question was, he said, Joe, what does it take to be a good referee, you know, with the fighters in there? I said, well, you got to be fair with the fighters, but at the same token, you got to be firm, to get the respect. As I listen to the show, I say, I'm fair, but I'm firm. I said, I'm going to use that. I'm fair, but I'm firm. And I asked my wife, what do you think? She said, well, hey, Mills Lay's got his catchphrase. Let's get it on, and you do yours. Why not? So I did. I'm fair, but I'm firm, and that's how it all started.
Do you still hit the boxing bag today, any?
I hit the speed bag. I guess I hit the speed bag pretty good. I still got a little spark of the old flash.
I'm happy for you. So let's just go down a list of fighters you've been in the ring with. Love to hear some stories, just a couple. First off, of course, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson it was an experience. One day Mike Tyson came up to me and said, he never called me Joe. He always called me Mr. Cortez. For the respect he always had for me. He said, I came up to you when I was 13 years old in New York. You came to a boxing event, the amateur show, and I was there. And I came up to you and I shook your hand. And he said, I told you I was going to be a fighter. And then you said, keep yourself in clean condition, no drugs, no gangs. Keep yourself clean, you can make it. He was only 13 years of age at the time. And I got to do his first fights when he first started out, the pros. Most of it was in Atlantic City and some in Madison Square Garden. And then I got to do a main event of his at the when he fought Bobby Fraser. And Bobby Fraser, my instructions was longer than the fight. The fight only lasted 30 seconds. And I remember giving him the instructions. And I don't want fighters to take unnecessary punishment. But sure enough, if I was giving the instructions to the fighter, I look at Mike, it was to my right, and Bobby Fraser was to my left. I was looking at them, I could see Bobby Fraser. When I look at him, I could see the fear in his face. Yeah, like fear. He was so damn nervous. And I said to myself, I got to watch him close. But he surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think he was going to go that quick. 30 seconds, it was over. Mike Tyson caught him in the corner. He trapped him in the corner. He hit an uppercut. That good uppercut, nailed him really good. Then he started going down. I wasn't sure if he really heard of that. He went all the way down. I pushed back away and I waved it off. I said, that's it. It's over. You know? And I said, 30 seconds in the first round. And, Mike Tyson was always very humble, very nice with me. Always nice. He was nice to be around people. Very good with it. He loves kids, be around with the kids. And Mike really, he had his ups and downs in his life, but he turned out to be a very decent man. He's a good husband and with a beautiful wife, Kiki, his wife. I think she was a lawyer, and she's been, taking care of him pretty good. He'd been listening to her, and he saw that she was the one that could put him in the right place, to keep him on the right track. And ever since then, Mike has been pretty good. He retired. He made a lot of money. He didn't save it all, but thank God he got Kiki at his side now, able to help him to put all the business plans, business ideas. He's doing pretty good for himself.
Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield's a gentleman, I tell you. I got to referee him against Reddick Bowe twice, the first one and the third one. And Evander Holyfield was really an amazing fighter. He had so much heart. He surprised a lot of people in boxing, including myself, of his will to be a warrior. He could get hurt, he take punches, he come back. When he fought that fight, I mean, the people tell me, Joe, that 10th round with Reddick Bowe in that second fight, that was the first fight, in the 10th round. You watch that round, the best round in heavyweight history. I mean, Bowe had Holyfield going until he was going to put him away. And then Holyfield came back in that same round and almost put Reddick Bowe away. It was an amazing, amazing fight. And he was in honor, and he's still pretty sharp. Last time I talked to him, I had him on my show last year. I talked to him. He sounded pretty sharp. I believe he's a four-time heavyweight champion. He did a lot for boxing.
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis, another great one. I referee Lennox Lewis against the Polish fighter. He started the Polish fighter. What's the name? The Polish fighter who kept hitting Reddick Bowe low blows. He was a heavyweight Polish fighter. Anyway, I did him against him. I did him against uh, the other former heavyweight champion. I forgot his name. I did two of his fights. I mean, Lennox Lewis can really punch. He's a good puncher, and good height, good reach, good jab. He was decent. and he was good for the heavyweight division.
Last one, Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Floyd Mayweather, he was a right to referee about 3 times. Victor Ortiz was a controversial fight for a simple reason that people say, Joe, what happened in that fight? You know, that he hit with Victor Ortiz went to hug him. I said, yeah, well, Victor Ortiz headbutted him, cut him in the lip. I took the point from Ortiz. And then Ortiz hugged him. He gave him a kiss on the cheek. He hugged him again. Then when I said, all right, time in, to time him to box again, he went to hug him again. And Mayweather, he heard me say, or the signal with my hand, when you put the hand down, time is in. And Mayweather just clocked him. He saw he opened up again to hug him again. He said, you're not hugging and kissing. He hit him with left foot and the right hand, put him away. People didn't like it. I think Larry Merchant said it best, the commentator. He said it was a legal sucker punch. You know, it was not good for boxing, but it was legal. Larry Merchant said, it was a legal sucker punch. And Mayweather got away with it. I did Mayweather with Ricky Hatton. He knocked out Ricky Hatton. That was one of his last knockouts in his career. He knocked him out with a check left hook, put him away. And he was a decent fighter. He did a lot of good things for boxing. A lot of people didn't like him because he was a little cocky, but he lived up to his part.
Three more for you. Thoughts on where the state of boxing is today?
Okay, the state of boxing today is more of a business. You can see, for example, you got Jake Paul. I give him a lot of credit. He came up with a gimmick of putting fighters together. Like he had Roy Jones in there. He had Mike Tyson. Now he had Julio Chavez Jr. He know how to make money for these guys. These guys say, I'm going to take the fight. What the heck? I'm going to get $10 million, $20 million. I'll go fight you, And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make a comeback and fight the guy. He's he has a good following. Has a couple of about over 100 million followers, and that's where he makes his money from. He knows how to put it together. So it's a business for these guys. But so a lot of these fighters today with social media, it gets to be like a more of a popularity contest than a real boxing contest.
Yeah, Al Bernstein, who we had on last week, says, have Jake Paul fight someone in the top 50. Mario Barrios said, have him fight someone in the top 15, right? We got to have him see somebody who's in his weight class, right?
Yeah. Well, what happens is that even if Jake Paul was to fight somebody in the heavyweight division, somebody his weight, he's like, I mean, everybody knows this is a business. The guy knows how to make money, and these fighters are making a lot of money. Like Tyson, he could use the $20 million. I believe he gave it to his wife as a gift for what a wrestle place. And who is it? Chavez Jr. made $10 million. They're not going to make that kind of money fighting other guys out there. And Jake Paul's smart. He making money himself. He knows how to do it. I mean, it's with today modern day technology, you can do a lot with boxing. AI, what's going to happen? You haven't seen nothing yet. AI is going to take over and do a lot more for boxing.
Joe Cortez is going to be there in AI officiating a boxing matchup coming, and you'll have a remote control on your couch controlling him in the ring. I mean, that's what's coming. I mean, it's just so crazy, right, Joe?
I want to do Sugar Ray Robinson versus Canelo Alvarez.
That would be unbelievable.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah,
the best of the greatest.
Two last things. You're really a fan of the sport. I mean, you're one of the greatest officials ever, but you really love boxing because you were a fighter also, no?
Yeah, I really love boxing. Being an ex-fighter myself, I did it because I liked it. I wanted to be a world champion. When you come up in a rough neighborhood like I did in New York, I was trying to find a way to make money to help my mother out and my brothers be the world champion. I thought maybe I could make it with boxing. And I didn't make it as a fighter, but I did okay as a referee. Getting inducted into the 6 Hall of Fames, it shows that I earned my status as a referee. It wasn't given to me. I had to work hard for it. I trained real hard, and I still help a lot of referees out there to be good referees and listen and try to learn. Or you can watch all the best referees that are out there today. The young referees coming up, I tell them all, watch top referees, and you can learn, pick up like I did. I used to watch Archie McCanty, Zach Clayton, and Tony for Tony, I forgot his name, for Tony, for it was another referee for New York. And a couple of other referees, I used to watch them, Johnny Bianco. And I used to watch these guys, and they had a lot of good skills. And I remember Zach Clayton one day, we went to some fights in Atlantic City. Zach Clayton's the referee who did the Rumble in the Jungle with Foreman and Muhammad Ali.
Lee, yeah.
And Zach Clayton, he was really good. Zach Clayton used to be a basketball player. He used to play with the Harlem Globetrotters. He said, Joe, I like the way you move in the ring, but I wish you'd be more like a cat. Be more like a cat. Jump here, jump there, you're in and out, move quick, keep those movements going. You can see Larry Hazard was also a good referee. Larry Hazard and I were coming up together, and Larry Hazard used to move around like Zach Clayton. We like to copy the best out there, and Zach Clayton was one of the best out there. And that's how it all started. And for me, it was a dream come true. And I see young referees today coming up. I got a call today from a good friend that I've been helping her as a female referee, Layla Matos from Chicago, Illinois. And she's going to be going to her first professional boxing event to shadow the referees that are watching the fight Saturday night. So she called me just for a couple of pointers because I've been helping her out a little bit on the phone. And when she comes to referee the USA boxing tournaments here in Vegas, so I like to help other individuals out there. And as a female, I think like sort of, the girl from Amanda Serrano said the other night, she thanked Jake Paul for putting an all-female championship fight, championship fights in Madison Square Garden. It's time for the females to reach that level. I mean, Layla Ali and a couple other former champion fighters were good out there. They did it good for boxing. Laura Serrano was the first female fighter out of Mexico. She lives here in Las Vegas now. She was the first female boxer out of Mexico. She was an attorney and they didn't allow female boxing in Mexico. And she defended herself to be a professional fighter. And then she got the license. She won a case in court. So she was the first female boxer out of Mexico, Laura Serrano. And now you got Amanda Serrano from Puerto Rico, who's a real good fighter, who fought a girl, Katie Taylor from Ireland, another good fighter. They fought 3 times, they made good money. But what I read on the online the other day, that they each got like $9 million for that fight. If they made that kind of money, that's pretty decent for females in boxing. And that's why Layla Ali says she'll come back under the conditions that they offer her $20 million. If you come with an offer of 20, she'll come back if they offer her $20 million. She said, but if you come up with that kind of number, don't even bother calling me, she said. But that's the way it is with boxing today. A lot of money out there. I mean, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and Larry Holmes. And then back in those days, they were only making $2-3 million a fight. And today's, with all social media, the way it is out there, these fighters are making 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million a fight. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Wow, you just have summed up the state of where boxing is. I love your enthusiasm, Joe. 2 last ones, I promise. When did you move to Las Vegas? What do you love about being here in Las Vegas?
Okay, I was a referee back east in New York and New Jersey. I was there for 10 years, and I got recruited. I went to a fight. Let me tell you how it all happened. I went to a fight in New York. A guy by the last name of, I think his last name was Max. Anyway, he did show my brother promoting a fight at the Penta Hotel across the street from Madison Square Garden Hotel. On the top level, they had a big convention room. They had a boxing event. Can you go there? Yeah, he used to be there to support my brother. I said, sure. So I went there, and when I went to get my ticket, the guy said, no, you got a complimentary ticket. I said, no, I can't do that. I'm an official. I got to pay for my ticket. Then I saw a sign behind him. It said $20 general admission. I took out $20. Give me the general admission ticket. He said, all right. He gave me the ticket. I'm walking away. A guy behind me pulled me by the arm. And he said, hey, he said, you know who I am? I said, no, I don't. He says, I'm Chuck Minka. I'm the executive director for the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He introduced me to his girlfriend. That was Dr. Freddie Pacheco's daughter. And he said, this is my girlfriend, I want you to meet her. And I met her. He said, sure, what you did there just now, he said, I wish all our officials were like you. You didn't take a ticket from a promoter, that's good. That's the way all officials should be. A couple of weeks later, I got a notice in the mail for Nevada. They want me to come out to be a judge for a fight, not as a referee, but as a judge. and I judged Larry Holmes versus Michael Spinks, the rematch. The first one was controversial, and Michael Spinks won that fight. But this is a rematch, and they called me to do that. And Mark Ryder was an inspector. He was good friends with Chuck Minka. They pulled me aside and said, Joe, you know, the reason why we call you as a judge here, we know that back in New York, you've been refereeing for 10 years. And those 10 years, you were refereeing and judging simultaneously. You already, at the time, they already had two judges, and the referee was the third judge. So I will be judging and refereeing at the same time. He says, and I kept track of all, Chuck, because I kept track of all the scoring of the top judges, and you're always on the top as one of the best judges scoring the fights. So I want you to come out to be a judge for Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks rematch. So that was doing that fight. I'm sitting at ringside, and I was scoring the fight, and Frank Burnett and Jerry Roth and myself were the three judges. And I gave the fight to Larry Holmes. It was a split decision win for Michael Spinks, and they were booing like crazy. And I thought they were booing me. Then Chuck Minka, the executive director, and Dr. Dave, one of the commissioners, and Mark Ryder came up to me and said, Joe, you know what? They're not booing you. They're booing the other two guys. You the one who had it right. And that was my first fight to Vegas as a judge. Then I got called again to judge again. It was Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. That was the Mirage. That was the first boxing event at the Mirage Hotel. I did that fight. It was all unanimous. We all gave it to Sugar Ray Leonard by a wide margin. And then after that, they called me to do a fight as a referee. But they said, Joe, if you live in Las Vegas, you will be doing big fights all the time, like Richard Steele and Mills Lane. You three guys will be doing all the big fights. So it took me about a year and a half to make the move out to Vegas. After I had done two fights I had, and one of them was Caesar's Palace Outdoors. It was Mark Nelson versus Jeff Fennick. It was a featherweight championship. That fight ended up a draw. It was a great fight, and I was a referee for that. It was like 110 degrees that day. It was so hot out there. And but I did that fight, and after that, I made the move to Vegas in 1992. And then so they recruited me out to Vegas. I made the move, and then I refereed 20 years out here. I came out here with 50 title fights under my belt. And when I retired, like I said before, I retired with 176 title fights. To me, that's a dream come true. If you said the last title fight I had was Canelo Alvarez versus Josecito Lopez at the MGM Hotel. And that was my farewell fight that night.
Well, you did a great job, obviously, and Canelo's going to be fighting Crawford up in the Allegiant Stadium in September. Going to be exciting stuff. Last one I have for you. You know, besides being fair and firm, is there anything else after your career that you concluded that makes a great boxing official?
Well, you know, you got to believe in yourself and always be honest. And you know, like people say, Joe, I'll give you an example. People say, Joe, how do you get into all these Hall of Fames? I said, well, you know what? I'm shocked because I never call anybody. I never kiss nobody's butt to get into Hall of Fame. You know, I tell officials, you want to get into a Hall of Fame. People say, how do you get into Hall of Fame? You have to just believe in yourself, be honest. Because when you retire, you can look in the mirror, you can look at yourself, and you can say, I did it the right way. I was honest. I didn't get there in there for kissing anybody's butt. I got in there. I didn't call somebody to get into Hall of Fame. They always call me. The best feeling in the world is when you get that call, like with Ed Brophy for the International Boxing Hall of Fame, called me in 2000. He called me in mid 2010. He said, Joe, I'm calling to let you know that you're on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. We'll let you know December of 2010 if you're going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame in June of 2011. I said, wow, okay, thank you so much. I couldn't wait for December, the first Saturday, as December 2010. That's when he would call. I was waiting by the phone, and he was in call. So I left the house for a couple hours. When I came back, it was a message on the phone that he had called me. He said, sure, I got to go. I won't be able to talk to you today, but call me tomorrow. It was Sunday. And I called him on Sunday. It was the first Sunday of December 2010. I called him. He said, Joe, I just called to let you know. I don't know if you're going to like this or not. He said, but he had me like tense. I was waiting. What? He says, you are going to be inducted into Hall of Fame at 2011. And I just choked. I couldn't talk. I was just choked up. And It took me a couple of, like almost more than 30 seconds for my first word to come out of my mouth. I couldn't speak. And I told her, I said, thank you so much. It's an honor for me. And that was, I mean, that was my third induction into a different Hall of Fame, but that's what everybody wants to get into, to get that ring, the International Hall of Fame. That's a great one. Then I got inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame that year. I got inducted into the Texas MMA Hall of Fame. That's the fifth one, and that'll be my sixth one's coming up September 26th to 28th in Atlantic City. That'll be my sixth induction Hall of Fame. So, you know, and anytime these guys call me to tell me, I'm surprised. I mean, when this guy called me for the Hall of Fame for Atlantic City, they showed this Ray McClain. You know who I am? I said, the name rings a bell. I really don't. I'm sorry. He said, you're the president of the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. They want to let you know that you're going to be inducted in September to 2025. I said, wow, really? I was shocked because you know, if for any place I would really enjoy, could be Atlantic City because that's where I did my first world title fight. Like I mentioned before, Ivan Pryor began Bontilla. That was my first world title fight. So it's going to be an honor being inducted in the first championship fight location.
Joe, you're just so much fun. I love you so much. Honestly, I'm going to tell you one thing in closing, and I'm going to be 40 this year, but for me, growing up in boxing, it was never a boxing fight without Joe Cortez as the referee. I mean, you're one of the most famous. You and Mills Lane, those are the guys. I mean, you know, you're one of 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, well, Bill Zane was a great referee. You know, so was Richard Steele, Larry Hazard, Arthur McCanty. I mean, there are a lot of good guys out there who are great referee. I would have wished that Larry Hazard would stay a little longer, but he got the opportunity to become a commissioner. So he took the job after 5 years as a referee. Him and I came up together. We kind of revolutionized referee, Larry Hazard and myself. We started the first boxing seminar ever given for free for all the officials in New York and New Jersey. We did it in New Jersey in 1979. You know, we will never charge anybody to our seminars. It was just something that we love doing to helping other referees. And I love when the world sanctioning bodies give seminars to officials. I mean, it's something that I think every state should have a seminar to give it to officials to make them better and to teach them and listen to the older referees speak. So many referees out there talking about refereeing and all that stuff. You know, it's good. I don't give seminars. Once in a while, I do something, nothing serious every year. But one of the sanctioning bodies, they always call me once, like, especially WBC, WBO. They call me up to do a seminar. I do it for them. I don't want to charge anybody anything, you know. That's not my way of being. My thing is helping my colleagues to be good referees and follow the steps of the veterans that are out there. We want to help out and make boxing better for us.
Joe, thanks so much for being on C1 Thanks for making the time. I really appreciate it today. It
Well,
means a lot that you were here.
thank you so much. You know, I'm glad you have the show that you're able to talk about boxing because that's what we need in boxing. People like yourself to give these shows to educate the fans and get these referees up to date. And some of the fighters, they should also, you know, watch the fights and learn and see how the referees, you know, you gotta have a referee your fight. It's a lot of things that some fighters don't even know themselves. Like one day, Larry Hazard called me and said, Joe, you and I used to always talk. Larry Hazard, commissioner for New Jersey, and when he was refereeing, he wanted to do a fight in Japan, and we had talked about something that happened, and it was we were talking about what if 2 fighters get knocked out simultaneously, they both punch it, they both go down. What do we do? So Larry Hazard had that going over that over and over and over until we perfected to the way it's going to be. But a lot of judges today, some judges don't even know how do you score that round, you know. And what we do is the judges got to say. I'm saying, don't be embarrassed to say, I don't know. Yes, it is. I want to learn. What is it? How do you call it around? They both got knocked down. So what do you call? You erase the knockdowns and you score the round like if there was no knockdowns. If it's a 10-8 round, you don't give it to the fighter who won the round. But you erase the knockdowns. The judges don't count those knockdowns as knockdowns. Yes, you erase it, give it to the fighter who won the round. That's how you call that round. And that's some fighters don't even know that. Some trainers don't know that. Some fans don't even know that. You know, and I'm sure talking to you about that, you probably don't even know that.
I love. Thank you for teaching me that today. That's such a great way to end this segment today on C1 Review. Thanks, Joe. Hang out with me, okay?
Okay.